Welcome to the Animals Naturally podcast with me, Suzanne. I'm founder of TaraNet, a leading international natural animal healthcare resource, and this podcast is designed to help you get some ideas on how you can help care for your animal naturally. In this episode, learn more about how your horse can be helped from its head shaking. You may be aware of head shaking affecting some horses and wonder what it is. In this episode, find out a bit more and about what natural therapies can be used to help. So first of all, what is head shaking and how does it affect horses? Well, head shaking is, when it's referred to horses, is more than just the occasional flick of a fly off the head and a bit of a wobble of the head. Head shaking, as a head shaking disorder, is quite a violent head shake, and it can cause real problems when handling the horse. So it can be difficult to lead them. Riding can be really difficult as well because they're so distressed from the irritation in their heads that they move their head quite vertically, or usually vertically, violently up and down, and sometimes side to side, and it can make it really difficult to ride them, and they find it really uncomfortable. So what causes head shaking? Well, there are a variety of issues that can cause head shaking. Some things are environmental. So, for instance, there might be dust, pollen, there could be insects, it could be the wind, it could be noise. Also, there can be physical problems such as dental issues, sinusitis, or an infection. There can also be issues if you notice it particularly when you're riding. It can be something like the bit or the bridle or the tack, so the saddle as well. So anything of attack can cause a problem. There's also been some research conducted over recent years looking at whether there's any neuropathic pain as a cause, and it has been shown that the clinical signs of trigeminal mediated head shaking are consistent with neuropathic pain of the trigeminal nerve in humans. So how would you know if your horse head shakes? As I said before, there can be quite violent moves of the head. It's very noticeable. You wouldn't have any sort of doubt really if your horse had a real problem with his head. So I do think to be aware though, it will be quite noticeable. So if your horse has a little shake of the head occasionally, there's nothing to worry about. If you are worried and it's causing difficulties for your horse when he's ridden or when you're handling them, then it might be a good idea to speak to your veterinary surgeon. If you do think he has a head shaking disorder, then do speak to your veterinary surgeon for consultation to rule out any physical causes and to help find out what is going on. So what can you do? Well, as I said, speak to your vet, find out what the problem is. If you notice particularly problems when you're riding your horse and your vet hasn't said that or can't find any physical issues, it might be a good idea to speak to an experienced riding instructor. A change of bit or bridle or riding position can make a huge difference. If it's pollen, dust or sunlight which are making the head shaking worse, then try a face mask for your horse. There's a lot of different types of face masks around. Some have earpieces built into them, some even have nose veils built onto them as well, so your horse's head is covered. Some horses will tolerate different face masks differently to others. There are, as I said, lots of different types of them as well, so it might be worth shopping around or trying a few different ones, but certainly many people with horses who head shake do find that a nose net or ear net or a face mask or all three can be really beneficial. Also, if you're noticing problems when you're riding, do try riding at different times of the day or night. So by night I mean in the evening. So if the sunlight is a cause of the head shaking, riding in the evening or the early morning away from the midday and early afternoon sunshine can make a big difference. Also, try riding different places. So if you like going out on long rides or hacking out, then maybe change where you're going if you notice it particularly in different areas. It's quite a good idea to keep a diary of your horse and his head shaking and over time notice then whether there's any pattern to what you've been doing, where you've been, as to what the weather's like, as to how different the head shaking was. And then that might help pinpoint the cause. So what natural therapies are there to help your horse who head shakes? Well, there's a few different ones that are thought to be useful. First of all is craniosacral therapy. So craniosacral therapy is a holistic approach and it's been used to help many horses who head shake. So it's been thought particularly to help with TMJ or temporomandibular joint imbalances. And so the holistic technique is found to then help with that condition, and the head shaking reduces. Zoopharmacognosy and its use of essential oils is another therapy that can be really beneficial. So essential oils aromatherapy can have a big impact on behavioural issues and help with physical symptoms as well. But of course, it does depend on the cause of the head shaking. So I always say seek the advices and the services of a professional zoopharmacognosy practitioner to ensure your horse gets the most out of this therapy. It's not a case of really trying DIY aromatherapy, because there's many different types you can get, and sometimes the zoopharmacognosy practitioner is the person who's going to get the best oils for your horse as well. You need to get the right one. Another therapy is one called PENS. The Royal Veterinary College recommend this as being something to try for horses who head shake. They have information on their website, which I'll post in the notes. PENS therapy is used with humans to help with nerve pain, so that is why it's considered to help with horses who head shake if nerve pain is a cause of their condition. Also, herbal supplements can be really helpful. Again, it depends on the cause of the head shaking, but although they're natural, herbs can be really powerful. An experienced veterinary surgeon trained in herbal medicine will be able to help decide what herbs might be of benefit. Homeopathy, again, there's dozens of different remedies that are homeopathic. A qualified veterinary homeopath will be able to advise you and let you know if there's a homeopathic remedy that might be beneficial. It might be useful to reduce the symptoms. Again, it does depend on the cause of the head shaking. So in conclusion, head shaking is complex. There's many different reasons why a horse might head shake. It could be environmental issues, it could be physical issues. Try different things, look at your management, keep a diary, find out over time, over a week or two, or even over a few months, actually, when was it worse? Was it worse when you rode out a different time of day, different places you've been, what the weather was like, etc. And you can try different herbal or natural therapies. So there's herbal medicine, aromatherapy or zoopharmacognosy as it's known as, equine craniosacral therapy, PENS therapy and homeopathy. So there are a variety of natural techniques you can use. So again, the first port of call, if you are worried that your horse is a head shaker, is speak to your veterinary surgeon, find out what they think. There may be some physical causes. It's easy to overlook the problems that dental issues, for instance, can cause. So a veterinary surgeon who's good at looking at teeth, or an equine dental technician will be able to help advise on that. Find out about physical causes first before trying other things. But remember, if your horse has a physical problem that is then treated and resolved, if they've got used to the behaviour of acting in a certain way, the behaviour may persist for some time. So that's where something like back flower remedies might be useful as well, because back flower remedies, there's 38 of them, they're really powerful to help with different emotions. So that's something you should also consider as well. Well, I hope you found this useful. If you have any questions on complementary animal therapies, then do please visit my website at taranet.co.uk. And please email if you want help finding a veterinary surgeon or homeopathic or veterinary surgeon or a complementary therapist for your horse. I'll be happy to help via my website. And until next time, goodbye.